My name is Ahad Butt. I'm a college student who wants to learn more about COVID-19 because it's a major problem that the entire world is facing. And we all, as a community, need to become more aware about it in order to take the right actions in order to prevent the virus from spreading in society. So I want to know how to socially distance properly or take proper measures in order to, take the proper sanitary actions that is required of me. And in case I'm affected or in case one of my family members or person I know is affected, I know how to react to this situation. And I think this website would do a good job in teaching me more about this. So this is the first homepage, that I just look at, and there is a big this is the website as COVID-19 awareness. I can see like a nav bar right on top. So there's general info, then symptoms, then spread prevention, and stats, and then a quiz section. So I can understand from this that, these top columns all give me some type of information about COVID-19. And then this quiz could possibly like test me on everything that I learned from this website, right? So this first, what I look at is this homepage, and this just says like COVID-19, uh, COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by the recently found virus known as SARS-CoV-2 or coronavirus. Before the outbreak originated in Wuhan, China on December, there was no information about this virus. So I get like a basic overview of what this virus is about, and I guess the basic history of this virus. And I can understand that this is like a very novel virus, that people, don't really know about, So, and it was just originated like super recently, like wow, December 2019. And here's like a fancy picture, which, I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to show, but I can like understand that it looks like some sort of a cell, I guess a disease virus picture, the common virus type pictures that are usually advertised. So now I'm going to begin my journey and click on general info and see what general information I can get. And here I get like a basic overview, to familiarize myself about the context of the virus, and what it exactly is. It's important to have some background, I would guess, and history. The oldest common ancestor of the coronavirus has been dated so far back at as the 9th century BC. Some studies published in 1990 specified the most recent common ancestors as follows: the beta coronavirus, 3200 BC, Delta coronavirus, 3000 BC, Gamma coronavirus, 2800 BC, Alpha coronavirus, 2400 BC. Now, so, okay, that's like very interesting information, but I would also admit that thing that, it's like a lot of jargon vocab, which looks very interesting and adds very important context about um, this virus, but also it's like difficult to make out what like beta coronavirus is supposed to tell me about the virus, and or any of these names alpha coronavirus is supposed to tell me, except that it's like a very old virus. Okay, now that I've read this, I click on next. And now it automatically took me to this second menu of. So over here, I can see like, these basic symptoms, and I zoom into high fever and it basically tells me that the body temperature can exceed 37.3 Celsius degrees or 99 Fahrenheit degrees. So I'm guessing it's applicable to both Europeans and Americans, who used both the systems, right? And then, tiredness is another symptom I see, and I can see this guy who I guess looks tired. He doesn't really have any facial expressions though, but it gives me a description. The body feels completely tired and without energy to perform normal tasks. And then over here, okay, this picture is much better. It's showing me a picture of a guy and like coughing. So I see it's like a dry cough, and then irritation and constant coughing without expelling any mucus. So, okay, this looks straightforward. So I click on next. And now I see, this I'm still in this symptom section, and I see, oh, okay, there's like a thing called asymptomatic people. And then I see this giant picture, and it's like a test, and it's in which a person is labeling positive or negative, right? And then I read this description, and it's many people infected with COVID-19 show mild symptoms, especially during the first stages of the disease. Thus, you can still catch the disease from an infected person who only has a mere cough and does not feel ill. Okay, that's interesting. Now I know that, it doesn't there doesn't need to be symptoms in order for someone to have COVID-19. I click on next. Okay, this is an interesting diagram, I guess. First of all, it's like infographics. And then, okay, there are some sub levels, tiredness, the body feels completely tired without energy, high fever, the body temperature can exceed 37.3 Celsius degrees, and difficulty breathing. Breathing actually feels more difficult, dry cough, constant coughing without expelling any mucus, and then tiredness. This seems very similar to the previous picture, except I guess it has a better visualization to it. It shows the human body in a different way, I guess, and it has like this similar points. Then I click on next, and it takes me to the next section of this, which is called spread prevention. And in this, we see there's two different categories: people and services. Now, in people, this disease can spread from person to person through small droplets from the nose or the mouth when infected person coughs or exhales. And then surfaces. These small droplets land on surfaces, which means any person that touches these surfaces and then their eyes, nose, or mouth can become infected. So it tells me like some key information about how this virus spreads, how it spreads from surface to surface and people to people, and it might create micro droplets. Okay, I click on next. So it gives me like a step to step by step way of like preventing spread. You have symptoms or have been in an infected area. Step 2, call the designated phone number for your REN. Step 3, you will be given a home test or over the phone. I go on next. Uh, what to do if you have the symptoms, okay? Patiently wait for the result of the test. Follow the instructions provided by the doctor. Next. Okay, so about 80% of people recover from this disease without needing special treatment. Okay, so I guess it's an important information. So it's like, uh, super huge, I guess, So it's good to know that, I don't necessarily need to go to the hospital, right? I click on next again. Now it gives me some four different ways of, preventing the spread of this virus. And it's like stay home. Number one is stay home if you do not feel well, even if you feel mild symptoms such as headaches, fever, and runny nose. Number two, if you need to go out, for example, to buy food or supplies, wear a mask to minimize the risk of infecting others. Point three is if you have difficulty breathing and or a high fever, seek medical advice as soon as possible. And four, call your provider and inform them of any recent travel, especially to countries with reported cases. Okay, so these are all very important points, I guess, and it's easier to digest them, I guess, because they're grouped in four categories, I guess, four steps. Going to go to the next step now. It tells me how to use a mask. I guess this is a very important slide as well. Before wearing a mask, wash your hands with alcohol-based disinfectant or with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose with the mask and make sure the mask is firmly pressed against your face. Do not touch the mask while you are wearing it. If you do, wash your hands. If an alcohol-based disinfectant or with soap and water afterward, replace the mask as soon as possible as it gets wet, and do not reuse disposable masks. Remove the mask from behind. Do not touch it from its front side. Throw it away in a closed container and then wash your hands with an alcohol-based disinfectant or with soap and water. Okay, these are very important instructions, and they tell me how I need to wear a mask and take care of my mask, and when I need to reuse it. Um, since we all need to wear masks whenever we're outside, this page gives me key information to make sure I'm getting the most out of the my mask's worth, right? All right, gonna go to the next page, and then I see, wow, it's some very interesting stats. I see like a graph in which it's telling me the mortality rate by age. So 0 to 10, I guess it doesn't really affect a lot of people, but as you go higher, wow, the mortality rate really increases. So for people who are older than 80 plus, I see that it's super dangerous for them. It's like almost 100% mortality rate. So I guess I can uh, you know really put this into context and make use of the statistics. Going to go to the next one. Now I see it just gives me an idea of how many numbers, the number of cases there were in March, I guess. And, now it takes me to this quiz, So, question one, which one of these is not a symptom of COVID-19? Okay, dry cough, shortness of breath, tiredness, skin rash, high fever. Okay, skin rash is definitely not a symptom. So I click on this, and whoa, it this popped up, and it tells me that it's the correct answer. So I'm gonna go to the next question, and it increases my score by one. Okay, next. So 5G networks are one of the main causes of COVID-19. True, new science research have found that high energy transmission from 5G network towers is linked to COVID-19. And B, false. There is no scientific evidence to suggest that 5G networks are linked to COVID-19. Now there was something in the news about, I don't know, some conspiracy theories about, and people saying that, oh, 5G networks is causing COVID-19. But I don't believe in conspiracy theory, so that's why I'm going to say it's false, and I think it's probably correct. So I'm going to click on B, and it's oh, see, I am correct. Okay, gonna go to the next one. And can bathing and bleach treat COVID-19 symptoms? Well, okay, this is a myth buster question, so that's interesting. Now, I guess President Trump did mention something about, bleach being used for a cure and stuff like that, but so true bleach is disinfectant that kills viruses on surfaces and hence it can also treat COVID-19 symptoms. And option B is absolutely false. The medical community believes any such use is extremely dangerous. Now, I don't trust a lot that Trump says, so I'm just going to click on B. And, it's obviously bleach, is super dangerous and, shouldn't be applied on skin. And yep, B is correct. Now I go to the next one, and I see question 4 is I may have been infected by COVID-19. Do I need to immediately admit to a hospital? Uh, so option A is true, COVID-19 is a fatal disease and you need to immediately admit to a hospital. And then option B is false. About 80% of people recover without needing any medical care at all. This is a tricky one because it does look like a scary disease, but on the other hand, I do know it's like mainly old people who need medical attention. So I'm just going to go with my gut feeling over here, and okay. No, A doesn't look good, right? So now I'm gonna press B and see if that works. Oh, okay, B is the correct answer, right? Okay, now I come to the next question, and which is question 5. And which of the following is not a safety guideline? And it has two options: true, wash your hands with alcohol based sanitizer or with soap and water. B, keep a distance of at least 1 meter between yourself and anyone who coughs. Take regular baths and breach water. Okay, I feel like it's definitely C because previous quiz also hinted this. And yep, C is the right answer. Then we have question 6. Getting the COVID once means you will get lifelong immunity for it. So true new science suggests that dengue, if you develop lifelong immunity for COVID-19. And then option B is false. There is no scientific evidence that suggests that lifelong immunity can be developed for the COVID-19 virus. So I guess the it initially told me that this is a very very new virus and we don't really know a lot about it. So I'm going to go with B. And okay, B is the right answer. And it tells me, hooray, you scored perfectly on the quiz. And now I can, I guess, return to the home page. So that's COVID-19, a site to teach you more information about the COVID-19 virus.